Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. A SpaceX Dragon capsule carrying two NASA astronauts, a Russian cosmonaut and a UAE astronaut, arrived at the International Space Station ISS this week. As per NASA, the Dragon docked to the complex at 1:40 a.m. EST, nearly 25 hours after its launch. Docking was delayed slightly as the mission teams completed troubleshooting at a faulty docking hook sensor on the Dragon. Apple partner Foxconn is reportedly planning to invest around 700 million in the new plant in Bengaluru. As per Bloomberg, the plant will be built in 300-acre site close to the airport and will manufacture iPhone parts among the other things. The investment is one of Foxconn's biggest single outlay in India and is expected to create 1 lakh jobs. India responded to Turkish representatives' comments on the Kashmir issue at the UNHRC meeting, saying it regretted the remarks on a matter that is internal affair of India. We advise Turkey to refrain from making unsolicited comments on our internal matters, said Seema Punjari, the Indian representative at the United Nations. India also criticized the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) for the same. A huge lithium reserves have been discovered in Iran's Hamadan for the first time, the country's government has announced. The reserves hold 8.5 million tons of lithium, Iran's Minister of Industry, Mine and Trade said. The element, known as the oil of the 21st century, is essential for manufacture of batteries used in electric vehicles and electronic devices. Saudi Arabia is reportedly set to introduce yoga in its universities due to its significance for mental and physical health. Several agreements to this effect will be signed with the major universities in the country over the next few months. According to Saudi Yoga Committee President Nauf Al Marwai, the decision was taken at a forum organized in Riyadh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed the approval of nano liquid DAP, that is diammonium phosphate fertilizer, as an important step towards making life easier for the farmers. After nano urea, now the government has given its nod to nano DAP. Now a bag of DAP will be available in form of a bottle. The Fertilizers Corporation IFFCO Managing Director US Avasti said IFCO will manufacture nano DAP, which will provide to be a game changer for Indian agriculture and economy. Kuwait's Crown Prince reappointed Sheikh Ahmed Nawaf Al Sabah as Prime Minister. This comes more than a month after the government resigned due to an increased tension with the parliament. The nomination of Sheikh Ahmed resulted in dissolution of the parliament and calling of early elections by the Crown Prince Sheikh Maisal Al Ahmed Al Sabah, who is also in charge of the duties of the government Amir. Although political parties are prohibited in Kuwait, the legislature has more power than similar bodies in other Afghan monarchies. ISRO will be undertaking an experiment of controlled re-entry of a decommissioned low Earth orbit Mega Tropiques MT1 on Tuesday. MT1 was launched in 2011 as a joint satellite venture of ISRO and French space agency CNES for tropical weather and climate studies. An uninhabited area in Pacific Ocean has been identified as a target re-entry zone for MT1. Russia is working to simplify the visa procedures for citizens of India and other 5 countries. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Yevgeny Ivanov has said. The process is also being simplified for Angola, Vietnam, Indonesia, Syria and other Philippines, Ivanov said. Russia is preparing agreement on visa-free trips to the 11 countries, he added. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das launched her Payment Digital mission to make every citizen of India a digital payment user as part of Digital Payment Awareness Week 2023 from March 6th to 12th. The theme is Digital Payment Apnao, Auron ko bhi sikhao. A significant portion of the population is still not aware of the digital payments or is not using them, as per RBI. ISRO said it successfully carried out an extremely challenging, controlled re-entry experiment of decommissioned Megatropher's MT-1 satellite on Tuesday. The satellite re-entered Earth's atmosphere and would have disintegrated over Pacific Ocean. The satellite, weighing about 1,000 kg, was launched on October for tropical weather and climatic studies. A hybrid solar eclipse will happen on April 2023. A hybrid solar eclipse is one in which it will appear either as an annual eclipse or a total eclipse depending on the viewer's location. During an annular eclipse, the moon will not fully cover the sun, and as a result, it will appear as a dark disk superimposed on the sun. Qatar's Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani was sworn in as the country's Prime Minister on Tuesday. He replaced Sheikh Khalid bin Khalifa bin Abdul Aziz Al Thani, who held Prime Minister's post since 2020. Sheikh Mohammed has been Foreign Minister since 2016 and represented Doha during a 3.5-year boycott of Qatar by Saudi Arabia and its allies, which ended in 2021. A transport aircraft from US carrying a NASA ISRO satellite landed in Bengaluru on Wednesday. The C-17 plane airlifted off California with NASA ISRO synthetic aperture called as NISAR satellite to form a joint mission to measure Earth's change in the Earth's crust and land ice surfaces. The 2,800 kg satellite can penetrate through clouds and can produce high-resolution images regardless of weather condition. In a notification, the Ministry of Finance said that the exchange between virtual digital assets and fiat currencies, the exchange between one or more forms of virtual digital assets, and the transfer of virtual digital assets will be covered under the Money Laundering Act. Besides the safekeeping or administration of virtual digital assets and the participation in financial services related to the offer and sales of virtual digital assets will also come under the Prevention Act of purview. India and Australia have finalized the Australia-India Education Qualification Recognition Mechanism. During his visit to India, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said, "If you are a member of Australia's very large Indian diaspora of 8 lakh, your Indian qualification will be recognized in Australia. Degrees obtained by the Indian students in Australia will also be recognized in India." Europe's largest nuclear power plant, the Zaporizhzhia in Ukraine, has been left without power following a new Russian strike. The plant is now running on diesel generators with enough fuel for 10 days. If it's impossible to renew the external power supply during this time, an accident with radiation consequences for the whole world may occur, Ukraine's nuclear energy operator Energoatom said. An Indian Navy major operation level exercise, Tropics 2023, culminated this week in Arabian Sea. The exercise was conducted across the expanse of the Indian Ocean region over a period of 4 months. Indian Navy said the Tropics exercise witnessed the participation of approximately 70 Indian Navy ships, 6 submarines, and over 75 aircrafts. The maritime exercise also facilitates operational level integration with the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, and the Coast Guard. Australian scientists made the world's first discovery to make electricity out of thin air. Monash University researchers developed an enzyme called as HUC, produced by a common bacteria found in soil, which naturally converts hydrogen in the air into electricity. Experiments revealed it's possible to store purified HUC for a long period at a freezing temperature without losing its power to generate electricity. Nepali Congress leader Ramchandra Pudel was elected as Nepal's third president on Thursday after defeating CPN UML leader Subhash Chandra Nembang over 15,000 votes. Paudel, who has been active in politics since he was 16 years old, took part in Nepal's anti-monarchy movement. He has served as Nepal's deputy prime minister and lost all prime minister polls for 17 times. Former NATO General Peter Pavel was on Thursday sworn in as the Czech Republic president. Pavel won the January presidential elections after defeating ex-Prime Minister and billionaire Andrej Babis. In the inaugural speech, Pavel promised to keep helping Ukraine. He also said that he would also pay policies to squash inflation, which ran into 17.5% in January, and fix public finances. Xi Jinping was awarded an unprecedented third 5-year term as China's president on Friday. The National People's Congress voted 2,952 to 0 for a 69-year-old Xi's reappointment. She was also unanimously named commander of the 2 million-member People's Liberation Army. Earlier, a 2-term limit on the presidency had been deleted from the Chinese constitution. Chinese President Xi Jinping's close ally Li Qiang became the new premier of the country on this Saturday. The Ministry of Defense on Friday signed a contract for a procurement of 6 Dornier 228 aircraft for the Indian Air Force from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited at a cost of 667 crores. The aircraft is ideally suited for a short-haul operations from semi-prepared or short runways of the northeast and island chains of India, said the ministry. Iran and Saudi Arabia have agreed on Friday to re-establish relations and reopen embassies within 2 months after a year of diplomatic tensions. The agreement was reached after talks in Beijing. Saudi Arabia cut ties with Iran in 2016 after its embassy in Tehran was stormed during a dispute between two countries over Riyadh's execution of Shiite Muslim clerics.
And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history.
5th March 1770, Boston Massacre. Harassed by a mob, British troop on this day in 1770 opened fire, killing Crippus Attucks and 4 others in the Boston Massacre, an event that galvanized anti-British feelings in the lead-up to the American Revolution. 6th March 1924, King Tut's tomb opened. On this day in 1924, the Egyptian government opened the mummy case of the King Tutankhamun, the ruler of Egypt in the 14th century BCE, whose burial chamber has been discovered in 1922 by renowned British archaeologist Howard Carter. 7th March 1965, attack on civil rights protesters in Selma, Alabama. On this day in 1965, state troopers used nightsticks and tear gas to attack American civil rights activists as they crossed a bridge in Selma, Alabama during their attempted march to the state capital in Montgomery. 8th March 1702, British throne ascended by Anne. On this day in 1702, Anne became the last Stuart monarch of Great Britain, having earlier acquiesced to the Act of Settlement in 1701, which designated as her successor the Hanoverian descendants of King James I. 9th March 1862, Battle of the Monitor and the Merrimack. On this day in 1862, during American Civil War, the ironclads Monitor and the Virginia, formerly Merrimack, battled in the harbor at Hampton Roads, Virginia, making the beginning of new era of naval warfare. 10th March 1933, opening of the Nazis' first concentration camp. On this day in 1933, soon after Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of the first concentration camp in Germany, opened at Dachau, where at least 32,000 people would die from diseases, malnutrition, physical oppression, and execution. 11th March 2011, Japan struck by earthquake and tsunami. On this day in 2011, an earthquake struck off the northeast coast of Honshu, Japan, causing widespread damage in the country and triggering a devastating tsunami that instigated a major nuclear accident.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.